So I'm Lulu, and we're talking to Dr. Skye, fertility gynae, about all things period. And what I wanted to really find out from her is what suggestions for those of us with daughters who are potentially going to be getting their periods in the next few years. And are girls getting their periods younger than they used to? Are girls starting periods earlier? Because I feel like I'm seeing this.
Yes, I'm seeing it too, and the evidence is suggesting it. So the latest stats are showing that the average age of menarche, which is your first period, is now age 11. But I'm seeing it as early as 8 and 9. We think that it's got to do with increased rates of obesity. So the higher your BMI, the higher your cholesterol, the higher your estrogen is going to be, and that's going to activate puberty earlier. So it's got to do with diet and lack of exercise. It's also got to do, we think, with some hormones in food
and phytoestrogens and that
phytoestrogens and in hormones that are being given to animals, so in dairy and that kind of thing. It's really hard to prove. You know, there are a lot of studies that show that yes, there are some hormones in these things, but is it causative, or are all these things just correlative? Are they all adding together? We don't know. But I certainly am seeing it very early. And in the past, where you might have spoken to your mom or your gran, and they were getting their first period at 16. We don't see that a hang of a lot nowadays, unless girls are quite skinny.
That's so interesting. I got my period super late, so I'll be so interested to see with my girls what happens with this next generation. But I do feel like it's a conversation I'm wanting to have a lot with my children. I've always been very open about periods and things. And I feel like now that Pops is 10, we're kind of entering into that tween, early teen stage. What advice do you have for those of us that are about to enter into this first period world?
So I think that it's important to have this conversation even earlier. I mean, so from 9, I think it's important to have this conversation, because some of their friends are going to be going through this, and it might make them worried or curious. And so I think having the conversation early is a good idea. And then I think having a little pack in their school bag that's got a little instruction sheet, so not just the stuff, but type out or write out, I'm so excited for you that this is a big day. Remember, put your panties in this Ziploc bag. Here's some new ones. Take the sticky part off of the pad and put it on the panties. It's okay. And then bring this note. I saw a really nice thing on social media the other day of a mom who had put a little note in case she wasn't home and only her dad was home, and she felt awkward to say something. This little note said, "I got my period today," and she just left it on her dad's desk. You know, it's such a sweet idea.
That is so sweet, and I love the idea of actually having the instructions typed out, because it is going to be overwhelming for them. Yeah. Okay, so we make a little pack with pad, clean pair of panties. I keep saying
2 Panados.
And 2 Panados. Oh, that's a good idea.
If they can take tablets, 2 Panados, because it can be quite sore. I mean, those first cramps can be hectic.
Definitely. Maybe a little thing of wet wipes.
Good idea.
And then I keep saying, but I want to do some investigating of nice period panties too.
Yes.
Because I think those can be helpful for them.
Yes, for sure.
And then, as you said, I love how you said, and then make it like a celebration. I'm so excited for you. And I'm really trying to bring this up with my girls too. I'm like, girls, it's going to be so exciting when you get your periods. It's going to mean that you're becoming ladies. And they're like, we're not sure.
Yeah, it sounds awful.
They're like, it doesn't sound great.
So, but I think the way that you frame it really can change the experience from a scary one into an exciting one.
Absolutely. And so many of the ladies I treat, I feel like are on the same stage as me, and so many saying they feel like their mums never explained to them what was coming. They were terrified, they were ashamed, they were trying to hide it. And I was telling you, I'm reading that period book by Dr. Jen Gunter, and she was saying, actually, the menstrual cycle runs the world.
Yeah.
And it's so true. It's because of the menstrual cycle that we actually have any humans on this earth.
It's true.
And it's something that we need to be more outspoken about, and just sharing more and more education. Yeah. And as you said, how many adults are actually needing the education at the same time
Yeah.
as children are.
I often find that a child or a young woman's experience of her period is very much dictated by what their mom experienced. So if it was normal for you as the mom to have horrific periods and you were never diagnosed with endometriosis or whatever was causing that pain, you just assume that that's normal, and therefore you don't think that there's anything wrong with your daughter when she has the same thing. And I think it's important to break that cycle, to say, okay, actually having pain that keeps you from going to school is not okay.
It's not normal. Bleeding through a tampon and a pad when you're 15 years old,
not normal.
It's not normal.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, I can't wait to make my little period pack and get everything all sorted. And I love that idea of putting a congratulatory note. I actually read something once that said if we were to, that historically periods were more celebrated. You know, we read these books of these, like the red tent and menstruating women's
coming of age.
dreams were revered. And people almost, when you had your period, you were in this space together where you were waited on, and how it was far more celebrated than it is now. And I read a beautiful little story of if we had to celebrate today our daughter's getting a period, like it might have been, but obviously within different practical ways of celebrating it years ago, you would be allowed to take the day off school because it was a big day. You would go shopping for a new dress. You might get your ears pierced or something else that like really shows that you're getting a bit older. Your dad would take the afternoon off of work, and then maybe you would go somewhere lovely like the oyster box or something to celebrate and have a tea or a lunch.
Fabulous. You should totally do that.
Yeah, definitely wasn't the way that my first period went down. But I think it's wonderful if we can celebrate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh.